Hey everybody, it's Deanna, and I'm here with your doTERRA oil a day. And today we're going to be talking about cilantro. You want to know something really funny is I didn't even grab cilantro before I did the video. So I guess we'll just talk about it and we won't look at it. Um, there wasn't anything there other than just being a mom and forgetting because I'm really busy. But it is kind of funny because there are probably like 3 oils that I really don't care for the fragrance of, and cilantro is one of them. And so I promise that's not why I didn't grab it. It was just an oversight. But cilantro is an oil that we don't use a lot. I mean, I feel like a lot of people don't know a lot about it. They don't use it a lot. And when we do use it, we kind of tend to think of it as a cooking oil, and it is. I mean, if you enjoy the flavor of cilantro, it sure is delicious in like Mexican dishes. It's good in dips. I will tell you that it is very strong because we're talking about doTERRA oils here. And I don't know if you saw the video I posted yesterday about how much plant material it takes to make a bottle of essential oil, but for doTERRA, it is a lot. And so you basically want to take a toothpick and open up the lid, and then there's a little hole in the little white orifice reducer. And you just kind of dip your toothpick down in there, get it wet, and then stir that into your sauce or into your dip or whatever. If you don't do that, it's going to be very cilantro-y, and it's hard to walk that back because I've tried to do that before. I've used too much cilantro in some dip, and I was having some people over, and then I said, oh no, it's too strong, so let me double the recipe. So then I made twice as much, and it was still way too much. And so then I went and made 3 times as much, and it was still too much. So I just kept making like a bigger batch of horrible food, and it was just a train wreck. So just go really easy on the cilantro. It mixes really well in food and also in like the diffuser with citrus. So the citrus can tone it down a little bit, maybe lime and cilantro. I know I've done some what in the world do you call that? Guacamole with that before, and that was really good, or also lemon. And so, but just kind of just take it real easy with the cilantro. As far as like why you would use it for your health, there's really a few things that I think of immediately when I think of cilantro. The first one is helping your body to get rid of toxins, especially heavy metals. Cilantro is just really good at that. And so, really any kind of toxins. I know I was exposed to mold, and I was really struggling with that a few years ago when I had first started using doTERRA, and I quickly learned that there's a lot of studies out there that you can look up on your own time. There's a lot of studies out there that show that it helps with toxins that have affected the liver and can help to kind of like bind to things and get them out of the body. And so I was using cilantro mostly in the form of Purify, which is a blend that doTERRA has that contains cilantro as well as a lot of the other cleansing oils. But especially if I were dealing with a really heavy toxin or a metal type toxin, then I would definitely use straight cilantro. How I would personally use it in that situation is 2 ways. I would go ahead and apply it over the liver topically, and maybe put a warm compress to drive the oils deeper inside your body. And the other way would be to add it to some Epsom salts and soak in a bath for like 10 minutes. Anytime you're doing a cleanse or you just know that you've been exposed to something. So I'm trying to think of an example. I know I had a girl on my team who had a fire, and she had inhaled a lot of smoke, and so that was just one of the things that we said was just add some Purify or cilantro to your bath water to diffusing it, especially if it was something you inhaled, just like that example I gave. Again, it's a really strong smell, and a lot of people don't care for it, and so you can mix it with citrus, and that's actually really great, which is why I love Purify so much, because the citrus oils are already so good at cleansing, and especially with the liver and kidneys, and so when you pair that with cilantro, it's such a great way to detoxify. Because of the fact that it's so detoxifying, it can help to draw out bad odors and things. So if you have like a pet that maybe has urinated on a rug, you could add a little bit of cilantro and citrus to a spray bottle and kind of spray it on that after it's been cleaned. Things like that it's really good at because it can draw things out. There's also some studies that show that it can kind of help your body with things like yeast, like candida yeast, and so that's another reason why I think it would be a great oil to use for cleansing. It's also been known to be good for the skin, and There's a study out there that shows, basically just aging that happens to us normally. They call it oxidative stress, but it's just a fancy way of saying like, hey, we've been exposed to the elements like a normal person, and it affects our skin over time and makes us look like we're aging. And there's been a study that shows that cilantro is good for that. I have no clue how one would go about using it for that, because I definitely would never put it on my face, because then I'd have to smell it and other people would have to smell me. So I think that, again, I would, since the skin is such a good cleansing organ anyway, and when you put the oils on topically, they're going to go where they're needed anyways, I would go ahead and still just apply it either to my feet or maybe over the liver, again, in that situation. It's also good if you have anxious feelings, and I think the reason why kind of goes to the emotional benefits of this oil. So cilantro is considered the oil of releasing control, and I think a lot of times the reason we feel anxious feelings is because we feel like we have to constantly control our environment. We have to control everything around us to make sure everything's going right. Now, I will say that I, in the past, have had some struggles with this, and it's still something that if I'm not careful, I can fall back into that familiar pattern of thinking that, bad things are going to happen, but if I can kind of control everybody and everything around me, that it'll be fine and it'll be safe. And a lot of times we develop limiting beliefs from our past, and it's not because we're stupid or because we're a bad person that we come up with these beliefs. It's just because we needed that belief at a certain time in our life to get us through something where we needed to feel safe, loved, and accepted, and we developed a belief. So for me, sometime in my childhood, I just developed this belief that I had to protect myself and constantly be vigilant so that nothing bad would happen. And I can easily carry that over into my adulthood and into being a parent and just constantly being a helicopter parent, like something bad's going to happen any second. And that can cause anxious feelings. Another reason why cilantro is good emotionally is to just kind of help you to people that tend to obsess over things. And I think sometimes, again, we do that to just make us feel safe. You've seen that show Hoarders. These people will collect things that really mean absolutely nothing to them, but they can't let go. And they know it's not good for them. They know it's not good for their finances, for their health. And if you can kind of picture your brain as like if you've seen that show, picture one of those person's houses as being the inside of your brain or inside of your spirit. And we do the same thing, maybe not with material possessions, but we do the same thing with patterns, things that we've done our whole life a certain way, like groups of people that we've just always hung around with, even though we know that they're not good for us, ways that we behave towards certain people, like just certain ways that we act around our family that we wouldn't do another time, ways that we parent that are not really healthy parenting techniques, ways that we respond to anger, just old familiar patterns that we just know that they're not serving us, and we're just holding on to it because it's familiar, not because it's good and helpful, but because it's just familiar. Hey, Denise. And so cilantro, inhaling that, just like whenever you're trying to get the emotional benefits, you want to inhale that oil. So inhaling that oil is going to help you to kind of, just like it works in the body, like it helps these toxic things to kind of grab on and get them out. It's going to work the same way with emotions. And so it's basically for like emotional cleansing and physical cleansing. And it can kind of just let you not feel so emotionally trapped. And I think a lot of us, if we had took some time to take some inventory, could admit that in many ways we're emotionally trapped. One example I can think of that a lot of people I talk to with what I do for a living is they're trapped thinking that, hey Patty, hey Janet is here, and I will answer my door in a second. Let me finish my video. A lot of people are trapped emotionally, and it affects them physically, and they develop this belief like, I'm a sick person, I'll never be well. And so they behave like a sick person. They make the choices a sick person would make, and they're stuck in that belief, and then they're not able to get well because they're blocking that. They're trapped emotionally. Another thing is financially. A lot of times we just grow up thinking like, this is my economic plateau. I can't ever break free from poverty or a middle class or wherever I'm at, or just living paycheck to paycheck, and there's no hope. And so when you believe something, you take actions that will support your belief. That's just what the human brain does to us. And so you have to let go of those core beliefs that are limiting you. I'm sick, I'm broke, I'm this, I'm that, I'm ugly, I'm overweight, I'm shy, I'm whatever. that's holding you back from living a life of wellness. Wellness isn't just how you feel physically, it's your whole life. It's like everything that you do. And if you want to have a life of wellness, we do need to look at emotional and physical components, even spiritual. And you'll find out that it manifests itself in your relationships, your finances, business, your health, in every area. So I like this oil a lot, even though I don't care for the smell. I love what it's able to do for me. And so I hope you will give it a try and add it to your collection. If you have any questions or comments, please comment below, even if you're not watching live, and please share the video. Somebody may be helped and encouraged by it. We'll be back here as usual every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're part of the Oil Shares team, over in our secret team group on Facebook at 1:30 Eastern Time today, you will have a chance to meet your upline Blue Diamond, Christine Hales. She'll be broadcasting live in Oil Shares at 1:30 Eastern Time today. So please go over there and check it out if you're part of our team. And I will see you again tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a wonderful day. Shine on.